Leviticus Viking.
Well, hey, Motor Warriors. It's been, oh man, at least 10 years, at least, since I've been out this way. This road is called Bradyville Pike, and it goes down to, guess what? A town called Saskatchewan. No, it goes down to Bradyville. I'm out for a ride, and when you're riding in the hills a lot, as the sun starts going down, because all the trees and the hills and whatever, it casts a lot of shadows, so it looks darker than what it actually is. But apparently people like to hear some stories, so I'm thinking about telling you some stories of stuff that happened in my misspent youth. And before I tell this, I just don't want everybody to realize that this is when I was much younger, and I became a Christian like over 30 years ago, like 35 years ago. So all of the stuff that I'm telling you is before that time. So if I'm talking about women I've met and different things, you know, that I might cover some stories, bear in mind that is not who I am now. That's who I was a long time ago. But the stories are true, and you know, some of them are kind of funny, some of them are kind of interesting, some of them will make you cringe. But the one that I wanted to talk to you about today is about a friend of mine on fire. Now this guy, he would do stuff that nobody else that I hung around with would do. You know, if people would dare him to do certain stuff, and he would do it just because he wanted people to think he was tough. And I mean, he was a pretty tough guy, but he had a heart of gold too. I mean, he was a pretty good guy. But he would do some stuff that he didn't really think through very well. And this story is one of those times. Now, this friend, I mean, last I heard, he had passed away. I know he changed as he got older. He was a good guy, but this is when we were young, so everybody bear that in mind. But anyway, my friend Gary, there was a group of us, and it was Halloween. And somebody said, I dare you to go scare some people in the apartments or whatever. Well, where we lived, there was a little area that we called the swamp. And there was a lot of brush and trees and swampy area, and like a little mini lake type thing, a little pond. And we used to go out and ride dirt bikes around there and when we were kids, and some people would go camping out there, you know, that kind of thing. And at one point, they drained part of that swamp, did some backfilling on it, and then threw up some apartments. And the apartments had, you know, like there was the apartments and then some little mini parking lot behind those. The main parking lot was in front, but there was a little mini parking lot behind those. And then there was some hedges, you know, some bushes that were, you know, hedges. You know what hedges are, right? But there were some hedges along the entire length of the apartment complex along their parking lot in the back, you know, by the swamp. And it was, I don't know, maybe 3 feet high, something like that. And anyway, what Gary did is he put on several layers of clothes and then poured a bunch of lighter fluid on like his arms and his chest and whatever. He had a face mask, you know, on and that kind of thing, but he didn't put anything on the face mask, but he had a face mask on, and then poured, you know, the lighter fluid on his legs and everything too. Now, if you know anything about lighter fluid and how it burns in kerosene, it'll burn like from the top. It doesn't burn down inside, you know, or be highly explosive like gasoline will do. Using gasoline would have been stupid. Well, using lighter fluid was kind of stupid too, but anyway, there is a difference. I'm not condoning this, so bear that in mind. But anyway, he poured some lighter fluid all over himself like that and went up, got to the doors. We're behind the hedges, peeking up over the hedges, watching because we think he's going to chicken out. He lights that stuff on fire, and as it starts to burn, he bangs on the door really hard, and some sweet old lady thinks there's trick-or-treaters, so she opens her door, and she must have been 180 years old, and she goes, ah, 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 oh my. She starts calling for her husband, and she is screaming and freaking out. She's about to pass out. The guy comes running to the door to see what his wife is freaking out about, sees Gary on, you know, lit on fire like that, and he's going, you know, he's not hurt, but he's going, you know, help, help, I'm on fire, someone let me on fire, help me, help me. And the husband is like, oh my God, murder, call the police, and he's like freaking out. It's like, we need an ambulance, and they're just freaking out. And the fear, I mean, I thought the guy was going to drop dead of a heart attack. We did not know who was living in that apartment, you know. It was just a random door that he went and knocked on. We expected maybe some young couple or a young kid or, you know, whatever to answer the door. Well, it wouldn't have been a young kid because it was Halloween. Back then they were all out trick-or-treating. But we had, you know, we expected it to be somebody younger. We had no idea it was an older couple. Well, once he saw it, he didn't stop. He just kept playing this game, screaming like he's on fire. You know, well, he wasn't on fire, but, you know, like he was burning and hurt and whatever. He wasn't burning and being hurt. It was just burning the outside layer a little bit. But he's freaking out. The old man, the old lady, you know, they run in, they're calling, you know, the police. This was all before 911, so they're freaking out trying to find the number. And Gary's at the door screaming, and they're freaking out, man. And then finally, when it started to, you know, catch his clothes too much on fire, he said, I'm gonna die, and he takes off running, and then jumps over the fence, rolls to put it all out, and then we take off running into the marsh with him, you know, staying low so they can't see us what we're doing. And next thing you know, we're way back on the other side of the swamp and hiding up in the trees and stuff, and all of a sudden we hear an ambulance and a fire truck and the police and whatever, and they're just coming into that whole area, and we could see off in the distance flashlights, so we know they were looking, you know, around the edge of the other, way on the other end of the swamp area. We know that they were looking for somebody that was burnt and dead, and it's like, whoa, man, you know. We kind of laughed about it for part of the time, but then when we started to realize how dangerous it could have been for that old couple and whatever, you know, that was not a smart thing to do. But anyway, Moto Warriors, that's some of the people that I used to hang around with. This was one of those guys that I used to ride dirt bikes with and race with, and but he was crazy, man. And some of the people that I used to hang around with did stuff that would just boggle the mind. I look back at it now as a Christian, and I'm like, man, I feel so bad, you know. But you know, we were young, we were stupid, we weren't, you know, we didn't have much for values and ethics really, and you know, we were typical little biker punks, you know. And but there you have it, Moto Warriors. That is one of the stories I wanted to tell y'all, and I hope y'all don't hate me for telling you that story. No animals were harmed in the making of that story, and the old lady and the old man, you know, we knew that they were okay and all that kind of stuff. They were just shaken up for a day or two. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. If you want to hear more of those kind of stories, let me know. If you don't, then I'll just keep my past to myself and won't share it. Or I'll share it and you don't have to watch that particular episode. Whatever. It just depends on how things go. But Moto Warriors, I really do appreciate each and every one of you. And I thank you for commenting and subscribing and hitting the bell icon, and you know, for sharing my videos with people. And my main intent of these videos was actually to have videos up so that, you know, my grandkids and great grandkids and all that, when that day comes, great, you know, whatever, however long YouTube lasts, or the videos are made available, whether it's called YouTube or something else, you know, I wanted it up there so that they can see the kind of man that I was and the kind of man that I am now. And the man I am now is very different than the young kid I was, the little punk I was, with hair going way down my back and playing in rock bands and getting in trouble. And whatever. But anyway, Motor Warriors, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video. But as always, remember this: live your life with the heart of a Viking warrior. Bye for now.